big stories here and there. The gruesome pictures of policemen attacking journalists really were not good. The journalists had gone to cover an event where the medical interns were protesting the harsh working conditions, and the police and other security operatives sprayed pepper spray to the journalists, and it was indeed awful. And we continue to ask if security agencies really understand that when journalists go into the field, they are on duty like any other person, or you who is out on duty. And we condemn such acts of violence against the press, and it's good that an apology came through, and we hope that will not happen again. But again, other good news coming in, and we witnessed, of course, the birthday of the Kabaka of Buganda, and we join the bigger community of the Baganda and the people who live in Uganda to say happy birthday to the Kabaka of Buganda, His Majesty Ronald Mwenda Mutebi II. But again, in this week, again, the big stories on Karamoja iron sheets. And the minister in charge of Karamoja Affairs, Honorable Mary Goreti Chitutu, was granted bail after spending 8 days on remand in Luzira prison. And the latest is that even the State Minister for Finance and Economic Planning, Honorable Amos Rugolobi, was also arrested last evening. He spent the night at Chira Division Police, and all we know is that the DPP has already sanctioned charges against him, and he will be appearing in court on Monday. And that will be the big story for discussion this morning. Looking at the trajectory this story is taking, at first we thought it's not a big issue, considering the number of iron sheets which were actually diverted, but looks like there is much more behind this story, and that's what we'll be interrogating. Is there much more behind this story of the Karamoja iron sheets? And again, when the president, His Excellency Yoweri Museveni, pronounced himself over this matter, I think things turned around. We seem to be looking at seriousness in this whole matter of corruption, and that is also why we'll be asking whether corruption has suddenly become a risky business in Uganda. We'll also be asking the question, are other ministers lined up for Luzira, like Mary Goreti Chitutu, or not? And that has been the question in the public discourse, and a big section of the people were asking, did Mary Goreti Chitutu commit I try to avoid calling it crime because she's still a suspect. Did she act alone? Anyway, but on the panel this morning, Dr. Jared Wanzara, a man from Namisindwa, and he is a researcher with Africa Leadership Institute, an organization that does oversight on government, is in the studios. Welcome to the show and speak to our viewers as we kick off the show.
Good morning, Apollo. Thank you very much for being around and for inviting me. Good morning to our viewers. We missed you last week. We hope you had a wonderful Easter.
Yeah, true.
Only that, of course, the usual mad accidents took place, and we condemn. Please, people, be very careful on the road. I was really disturbed with the family that died in Chinoni.
Yeah, 9 people died.
Yes. The engineer, his friend, I think either his brother, the wife and the children. It was really painful.
Very painful.
So please, let's observe the traffic laws. Let's try to be very serious on the road.
Thank you so much, and we have also been joined by Charles Kazoba, and Charles Kazoba is a senior journalist, and lately he joined the MK movement, though still informal. I don't think it's a registered organization anyway. But Charles Kazoba, speak to our viewers before we kick off the show.
Thank you, first of all, for inviting me on this talk show. I'm very glad to be here. Good morning, viewers. In the same vein, I also wish to take this opportunity to wish our Kabaka happy birthday. You know I'm a royal.
Really? Yeah,
yes,
true.
I'm a royal. So there's no way I'm a Mchwezi. The name Kazoba is a 26th king of Mchwezi.
Okay.
And you might have also seen.
We've been looking out for Mchwezi.
Yes.
From all places, and here you are.
If you've been carefully seeing some of the activities at Mengo, you might also have realized that MK movement is closely associated with those activities. So we are working together with Mengo in our
I talked about MK movement being somehow still informal.
I don't know what you mean by informal. Because this revolution have swept the whole country.
Really?
Every corner of this country, there are MK supporters.
Okay.
And we have several activities. Yesterday, we were in Honorable Kabanda's constituency.
Zambia.
Yes, the general was there. On 19th, we are in Kabari. Yes. So there are lots of activities, and we are mobilizing seriously. So don't look at this as a joke. Okay. It is we are a movement that is going to take over this country very soon, and you'll be surprised.
We pray for you. But viewers, again, I must say we received actually it's sad news of the passing of the former PSST Permanent Secretary and Secretary to the Treasury, Keith Mhakanizi. And Keith Mhakanizi has been eulogized as one of the architects of Uganda's modern economy. He passed on in Milan, Italy, and it has been published that the cause of his death was a cancer, that he has been battling cancer. And we commiserate with the family of Keith Mhakanizi, the fraternity at the Ministry of Finance and OPM, where he has been the permanent secretary. We say he rests in peace. And that's where I ask my panel to make just a quick comment. Dr. Jared Wanzara, Keith Mhakanizi has been eulogized as one who has been steadfast in his way of doing things, who immensely contributed to the recovery of the economy. I want to pick your comment, and actually some people are saying his passing signifies a passing of an era of those seasonal economists, including the late Professor Tumsime Mutebire, the former governor of Bank of Uganda, and others. Make a comment.
Apollo, I wish to join. I want to join the family of Keith Mhakanizi to commiserate with them. You know, losing a family member is always a painful thing. And also, what I know about Keith, I knew very little about him, apart from the fact that he had stayed in the Ministry of Finance for a long time. I knew that he was a director for budget, and then before he rose to the rank of permanent secretary and secretary to the Treasury. One thing I remember about him is that he was always opposed to unnecessary borrowing. And I saw him a number of times in Parliament during budget discussions when he's telling off the budget committee of Parliament.
True.
And whenever he had an idea that contradicted with what he believed, he would say it directly without minding whether you'll go home annoyed or not. So for me, such a character is what we deserve in places that the Minister of Finance. Of course, it is a passing of an era. You know that the Bretton Woods institutions, World Bank, IMF, played a key role in Uganda's economic reforms. Deregularization, privatization,
big stories.
Privatization, and things like that. So having been an understudy of people like Mutebile, definitely he played a role in the reform of this economy. Of course, there are a number of things that went wrong, like we see the president these days acknowledging as he recapitalizes the Uganda Development Corporation. Like I remember the Privatization Act did not want us to outrightly sell whatever we had, 100%. They preferred a model which was similar to the Kenyan one, where the state would remain with about 51%. A stake, and then sell the 49%. So that we don't, but we ended up, especially like in the banking sector, almost, we have no banks. Our banking system is controlled by foreigners. So they played a role. I commend them, regardless of what went wrong. But definitely he's going to remain one of the people to be remembered in the in shaping the current Uganda's economy.
Well, Charles, I know you have often times, I mean, during his lifetime, interacted with Mhakanizi. The times I met him in parliamentary committees, he was so ruthless and like Jared said, he was that person who speaks his mind. What can you talk about the legacy of Keith?
Keith Mhakanizi is he was one of the most respected civil servants in this country. I happened to work with his sister at some point. I also observed him for a very long time when I was a parliamentary reporter, because I used to attend a public accounts committee. At that time, it was chaired by Nandala Mafabi. I also had an opportunity to see him appear before Parliament together with his boss, the late Chris Kasami. Kasami was a very quiet guy, but Mhakanizi took up most of the questions. He was brutally honest.
Really?
Yes.
I think that is the right word.
And he was honest. Very knowledgeable in the area of his work. That we used to enjoy his engagement with Nandala Mafabi. Mafabi is equally a grounded person in terms of in areas of accounts. But Keith Mhakanizi, when he took over, I think he did not have equally good people that would have supported him when he was PS. When the way he supported Chris Kasami is not the way he was supported during his tenure as PS. Most probably that's why some few things here and there went wrong. But he was good. He was good. The country is going to miss him. When he was transferred to the Prime Minister's office, I was a little worried.
Worried? Why?
Because I felt maybe his replacement was too early in finance. Yes, it was too early. There are certain things that we still needed to do, considering that Dr. Mutebile had also died. So,
and he has never been replaced?
He has never been replaced, but Bank of Uganda is functioning very well. I don't think it's a big problem. However, now our concern is which other group takes over the finance of this country. We are worried.
You worried, but there are substantial officers in that ministry. Honorable Matiaka Saija, maybe you don't want me to talk about Amos Lugorobe and others.
I'm talking about commitment.
Oh.
Commitment.
Ramadhani Gobi, the
commitment.
Call him an analyst. I don't know why. They don't call him, the public calls him.
I cannot comment on Gobi because I knew him well. He was still at Sunrise.
Yeah.
And he has, over time, risen through the ranks up to that level. But
you don't want to comment about him? Anyway.
the group of the Mohakanis is very, very different from the current crop of civil servants. These were very committed people and professional. They knew their work. Yes. So as a country, maybe the young guys are coming up, but who grooms them? That is also another issue. Who grooms them? When you look at what is happening, the theft here and there, it means somebody is not in charge somewhere. There's a problem.
Do you share the same sentiments, Doctor? That
maybe what
possibly we lack those characters in civil service.
Maybe where I would disagree with him is that if we don't give other people an opportunity, we shall never know how they perform.
Yeah, true.
I believe that there are so many economists in the Ministry of Finance who will rise, and of course Keith did not leave the Ministry of Finance during his death. He has been away. I think he was transferred over a year ago to the office of the Prime Minister, and still the Ministry of Finance is functioning. Of course, the methods of work may be different, like Ramadhani Gobi, having come from lecturing, he's more of a calm person. He doesn't have, sometimes also personalities where we come from. There are people who shout, like us from the Eligon. If you go to Bududa, when you are speaking to a person, he's likely to shout.
Yeah.
And it's likely to shout. Like the Wachiga. Compared to someone maybe from Bungoko, near Mbambali City. So the methods could be different, but I believe, like if you go to the Bank of Uganda, for instance, if you go to the Bank of Uganda, for instance, when we lost Professor Mutebile, people said that he's irreplaceable. Okay, I know that, with due respect, the president has failed in his role, constitutional role of replacing.
Okay.
Because the law says there will be a governor and a deputy governor. And then we keep quiet about this as if there are no people in this country to replace. We have lost Keith Makanizi, but I don't believe that Uganda will end or Ministry of Finance will collapse, because when we give other people an opportunity, we can see their potential. That's why my friend Kazoba is supporting MK. He knows that President Museveni is able, okay, and has steered this country for this period, but he believes that MK can take it forward.
Okay.
Yeah. So
and a section of Ugandans have linked Keith to what is just happening at OPM, and possibly that he could be. His shrewdness and his desire to see things go right possibly could have led to.
Actually, no. I don't think anything like that contributed to Keith's. If I quote the president's message eulogizing Keith, he said, "I knew about his illness.
Oh yeah.
But I didn't know that this time round he would not come back." Okay. And already there's information that he has been treating cancer. So the superstitious people who are thinking either Kitutu has bewitched Keith.
No, I think you misunderstood him.
Keith, I remember.
He was a whistleblower.
Yeah, he could have played a role in this
I will not
unveiling the scandal.
I will not call him a whistleblower because the information first came out, then he made a statement which he somehow crucified.
Oh yeah.
I think he was not aware. Like OPM has so many programs. How many ministries are there? There's State Affairs, Bunyoro, Karamoja, Rural Triangle,
Disaster.
and other programs like NUSAF, Disaster Relief and Refugees. There are so many. It's possible earlier he did not know. But he said if anything went wrong, people should be prosecuted.
Yeah, true.
Like a serious accounting officer would do. Then secondly, I commend him. This errand driver who went to Budo and knocked with a government car and knocked a suitcase of a student and ran away with double indicators. The next day he chased him, said, "You go, let police arrest you, go solve your things. Once you are you have settled your things, then you come back to office. I will not let you go with impunity." And of course, one of the best people, the people who eulogized him, the best, and when I was reading, it touched me. I shared it to various forums, was that of the former minister, Rukutana.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, Rukutana, I think they were personal friends. They met in the, later they were in Makere together. They met in the ministry. And to him, he says, having come from the law background, to finance, he did not have sufficient knowledge, and therefore he utilized the knowledge of Keith Muhakanizi to always to get updated with finance knowledge, and that whenever he pretended to say, "I'm your boss," Keith would tell him that we shall see who leaves the ministry first. And when he left, he says, "You fool, haven't you left me?" So when I was reading, I was actually laughing a lot, but it touched me.
Yeah.
You know, when you lose a person who is so close to you, those are the memories.
Yeah, true.
What you shared with the person.
Thank you so much, and viewers, we are privileged to have been joined by a distinguished legislator from the 11th Parliament, Member of Parliament for Buyaga West, Honorable Barnabas Tinkasimire. I'm pleased to have you again on the show. Speak to our viewers and go straight to the passing of Keith Muhakanizi. We dedicated a few minutes to eulogize a gentleman who has been talked about as one of the architects of Uganda's modern economy. And one discussant here, panelist, described him as an honest what? What did you say? Brutally honest person. And you interacted with Keith several times in Parliament, I am sure.
You used to ask him a question.
Of course, first to our viewers, good morning. Apollo, thank you for hosting us. My fellow panelists, you are most welcome this morning. Of course, Uganda is ripped with grief. And not only him, there is also another big person who has died, Professor Ntambirwechi, who has made a big contribution to the building of this country. He started the university together with Professor Kakuru, the justice, who also passed on, I think, last month. It's a sad time when such people, a person, many times, I think the trait or the trade name that Keith carried was telling the truth. And I think he was more knowledgeable in the field where he was. So he would look at people trying to twist the knowledge and his truth. He would say no. Sometimes he would become very arrogant. So in the process, people did not, a number of them thought he was very, very arrogant.
Yeah.
He was stupid. But
Cantankerous.
and to me, that is a leader maybe that we needed, who would tell the truth
To power.
I don't know whether he told the truth to all, because the one that I know that he told the truth to all was Professor Mutevere. He even told the president, "Here you are going wrong. You want money from Bank of Uganda, I will not give it to you." And of course, you can imagine you telling your boss that you will not give it. You are not going to give the money. Of course, I don't know whether he ever told such to the president.
Okay.
But at least to ministers, members of parliament,
Yeah.
who would want to twist him, he always said the truth. I did not expect him to leave the Ministry of Finance, because I think we still needed him.
Yeah.
Events played, and is he Rugorobi? Is he Ngorobi?
Gobi.
Ngobi comes in his place. We are yet to see whether Ngobi is going to fit in the shoes of this departing man.
The economy that works.
For everyone.
We are yet to see. And we are yet to see that. But of course, we will miss Keith.
Yeah, true.
His contribution at OPM, he was in the job of such a big entity,
Yeah.
OPM. He fitted in so well, because at OPM it needed a character like his. But of course, has gone away so soon, for us not to feel his impact. The little time my friend Dr. Okida raised a critical matter. These government drivers have been very errant in driving, even reckless in driving these vehicles. They break them with impunity, they knock with impunity. By this time around, I think he showed a way to other accounting officers that he even has an ear to the smallest person in the ministry. That is a driver. He was ready to listen to complaints being raised by the public in the ministry. Of course, the knowledge that he carried, we will lose it, because the knowledge is carried at the personam, unless it was reduced into a book. No one was there to record all those times that he appeared, that we can pick maybe an autobiography out of him, and people would view it and pick the knowledge. Even the children, they will only carry the genes, they may not carry the knowledge. This country will miss him. I do not doubt. What we need to discuss is he was not a very old man.
Yeah, he was still young.
He was still young.
64.
Dying of cancer at the age of 64 will raise very many questions. What type of... I was told he had colon cancer. And now the issue is how the health department, the Ministry of Health, is going to carry out public health campaigns against such diseases that have taken a turn against the Ugandans.
You are very correct. Because this long list of people we have lost, right from Olanya to Mwine, all it's cancer, and it's a matter of concern.
Yeah, and really, I think I have not found out what killed Professor Ntambiruchi. You could also find that it has a relationship with the guy. I have not found out. He was not so old to die. So we need to find out. We need to find out and have a way we can mitigate this, carry out concerted public health campaigns against the spread of cancer, against the prevention. Yeah, we need that.
We need that. And
Maybe let me add something.
Okay.
Something before I leave. Something that I want to tell Ugandans. The death of Keith Makanizi, and maybe even this, because Professor Tamirochi, I'm talking about people whom we would say had money. I'm calling for humility on every Ugandan.
Yeah, true.
It teaches us a lot of humility, that money cannot solve anything. You may have the whole world, you may have the whole of this country, but when a death comes, it will not save you.
Oh, yes.
And it's humbling. It's as humbling as that. At 64, I believe Keith had all the money that would stop this death.
Yeah, true.
If it would be stopped. So we need to be humble.
True.
And go Apollo, I would need to correct my
Do so. Very fast.
honorable member of parliament. The other time I invited him to MK, he has not yet come.
No, I cannot do. I cannot.
But
I have a name to protect.
my current concern is that we are spending a lot of public resources on public servants who don't want to disclose their health failures.
Really?
In my view, each public servant should go for medical checkup on a monthly basis, so that the country, the state, is aware of your health. What is wrong with that?
It's a private
But the president said he was aware of his health.
Yes, but in Right Honorable Lanya's case, the president actually complained that the speaker disclosed his
late,
health status very late. This is a challenge.
With due respect, the issue you are discussing is a right to privacy. A right to privacy is well stipulated in the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda, and you are not going to wish it away. A right to privacy. Article 27 of the Constitution.
I think he's proposing that if there could be
that can
amendments,
change, yes, that can change.
So that we don't
At least the president
lose
should
people
be aware.
Anyway, if we could
you know,
save them.
honorable, this country spends a lot of money on you. Then you wake up and you are dead.
Anyway, Dr. Jared, a comment and we go straight to our main topic.
That comment is this illness just comes and kills someone. By the time the person reaches that stage of dying, there have been a number of, if you give unemployed medical insurance, you don't have a right again to follow the employee to find out when, why, and what is paying. And considering the number of public servants who are being catered for by the state, it is really not practical. Okay. It's not practical.
No, but
before I go that, I wanted to give some information. I had a patient at the Cancer Institute in Mulago. There is a dimension that a doctor was telling me about in what's happening in Mulago. I found so many young people below the age of 40 on chemotherapy.
Oh, that's
and
treatment
majority
for cancer.
of them are female. So when I asked, he told me that quite a number of them are experiencing cancer as an opportunistic infection resulting from cases of HIV, TB, and so forth. So when the body weakens, many of them are dying. So it is something that really we need to think about, because I was really perturbed.
Yeah, true.
So many young people in their 30s at the Cancer Institute.
Okay, my concern, gentlemen, is the trend in management that we are actually witnessing. Every time a prominent person dies these days, at least of recent, then we eulogize them as people who will miss, people who were honest. Remember people like Olanya, what we are speaking about, Keith, is almost the similar things we spoke about Olanya, we spoke about Kenneth Kakuru.
Yes.
People, Mutebire, that people who were really honest people, and also I share that concern that possibly this time round we may not have many people of the same character, and especially especially as we are going to discuss corruption.
Apollo in Uganda,
and
the culture of
Ugandans
is that we are not allowed to, when you divulge any wrong information,
the dark side
of a dead person, you are looked at as somebody who is not cultured.
So are we pretending really? In all
our
these
culture,
ideologies?
Our culture tells us only to bring out the good side. The bad side, you die with it. You die with it. If you are going to disparage a dead person, they look at you with as an outrageous person.
Yeah.
You carry the rage of the public. So I think we keep that good culture, because it helps us to push on, to concentrate on positive things those people have left.
Yes, true.
The bad things they have left, let them go with them. Let them go with them, and they go and sort out themselves before God. Because God is the one who deals with that other aspect. For us who are still continuing, let's build on the truth this person brought out, the honest, the shrewdness. By the way, Keith was a very, very shrewd person. I believe even when he was a civil servant, he did not choose to sit back and say, I will eat my salary. No, he did even businesses. I remember one of the businesses around construction related in national housing, when they were privatizing, that is where I read his name. He was doing some business. And that is good, because some civil servants leave no legacy. You go with your legacy. You go with your truth. With your truth, but you have left children, you have left a family in a government vehicle, in the government house, you have left a family driving a government car, and of course, after he has died, they have to hand over all
soon
these things.
They will be evicted.
They will be evicted. Where are they going to go? You have to plan for all those things. And for Keith, gave a very good example to the younger civil servants who maybe at today have taken on the path of drinking, enjoying themselves, and because you can see cancer is coming for the young people, is killing them at a very young age. Younger age, you never know, it can catch you in your 30s when you are still even drinking.
Okay, viewers, thank you so much for tuning in, and this is The Dialogue. My name is Prince Apollo. On the show we have Honorable Barnabas Tinkasimire, Member of Parliament for Buyaga West, and we have Dr. Jared Wanzara, a man from Namisindwa, a researcher at Africa Leadership Institute. We have Charles Kazoba, a senior journalist, and lately he pronounced himself as a member in the MK movement, which I said it's still in its formative stages and it's still informal anyway. But we will be picking your comments. You can go to our social media pages, and you can actually interact with us directly. On that line, we usually use 0701 609906, and you make your comment or contribution on the issue at hand. And the big story is another minister was arrested last evening on matters relating to the diversion of Karamoja iron sheets. And we will be asking questions and attempting them in one or another. We ask ourselves, is there much more behind the Karamoja iron sheets saga? Is there much more than what meets the eye behind this whole saga? And again, we can ask ourselves, has corruption suddenly become a risky business in Uganda? Dr. Jared Wanzara, please kick off the discussion and tell us what you think about what actually is happening. We see people being arrested, others being granted bail. What do you make of this whole situation?
First, I think you gave me this platform also to communicate to my people. Let me see. There are people who are scandalizing
The region
my
that
name,
is actually
who are scandalizing my name.
in the news.
You know, I started a forum in Namisindwa to fight corruption in the local government. And now there are people who are scandalizing my name, saying I am behind the people who are fighting Honorable Chitutu. What I want to make clear is that if you are given a public office, okay, you have, it comes with, yes, benefits, but also with responsibility.
Yeah, true.
You don't have to be a minister, then you behave like a village woman who has cooked food, rice, at a funeral, and then you have to load on the plate and begin distributing to everyone. There are people who received those iron sheets innocently.
Yeah.
As you know that the office of the Prime Minister has the Ministry for Rural Triangle, it has a Ministry for Bunyoro Affairs. There's someone who was asking me that, how comes there are so many Banyoro on the list? But there are people who might have gone thinking that they are receiving something from the Ministry of Bunyoro Affairs.
Yeah, true.
And such people, if you read the letter of the president critically, he said, and for me I knew that was a direction the arrests were going to take. He said, those who are entrusted with the public office and then they get the properties of government and then they go to seek cheap popularity by distributing because they want to win re-election. He said that is political corruption. And he says in the NRA ideology, we take it as subversion. And then he said, particularly, this matter of Karamoja has a security dimension.
Yeah, true.
That these iron sheets were bought for Karachunas. Karachunas are those cattle rustlers, the warriors who are stealing and killing. So he said, if you divert the property that are bought meant for these people, then you are playing with the security of the country. And with the due respect, Honorable Chitutu did not behave responsibly. If I am to take the testimony, for instance, of the Honorable Kadaga before the committee this week, I think it was yesterday but one, she said, we finished a cabinet meeting and then my friend said, have you received iron sheet? You come to me. You come to me, you know? So, she said she has a responsibility to bring back and pay, to refund. She took unknowingly. But there is someone who holds that responsibility. And therefore, I want to differ with the people who want to tribalize this. That we have a Gisu. I saw a bishop on Easter saying, oh, you forgive, you release our daughter, you know. And then the message in other parts of the country was different. So, honestly, I wouldn't mind if punitive actions are taken on someone who has violated that. Now, secondly, the president said, of course, he commented about those who took unknowingly. Then he also talked about those who used for on private.
Yeah, that should be a police matter. They should.
That's a police matter. They should be arrested and tried. And that's why we are seeing Honorable Lugorobi. He provided the evidence himself.
Oh, yes.
When the New Vision broke the story about his structure, he went and plucked off the iron sheets. Actually, there are reports that those iron sheets were loaded and brought to Namamve, but the OPM people, the stores guys there to close the office, and then the truck rotated around. Because how do you return iron sheet with the holes? With the holes. So, I knew that dimension. Those who took unknowingly, but now, there is something that I don't know whether people paid attention. When the Right Honorable Speaker returned the iron sheet, The team was stranded with the iron sheets for over 7 hours.
Yeah, it was not easy accepting.
It was not easy. And then a team had to come from Chivuli, detectives, and then they recorded
Every detail.
everything and even marked AAA on the iron sheets. I don't know the implication of that, but probably it is evidence that she returned, and probably the file could be closed. But what does it teach us?
Exactly.
What does it teach us? One, I remember the Honorable Apollon Sivambi when he was Prime Minister. You know, the Leadership Code Act talks about something that you receive during the course of your duty, either as a donation. He went to Algeria. He was given $50,000 plus a mat that the Muslims use for praying. He came and declared it here in the house. And when he was declaring, people laughed.
Oh.
They laughed at him. But I can say we are missing such leadership in the country.
True.
And we are talking about the iron sheets that was 9 billion. We have another scandal. The reports we hear about the goats, 20 billion, is that the only goats that they bought 800,000 each are those the president launched in Kabong or Kotido.
Oh.
When he left,
They sold them.
no, they started buying from around Teso, and when they buy, they go and distribute in a sub-county, then they come back and buy cheaply the same goats, and they take to the next sub-county. So they were distributing the same goats.
So there could be much more.
Yes,
Than
and
what-
I think more people could be,
What
might
meets
be
the eye.
arrested. Exactly.
All right, and before because I see the break is just coming. In your opinion, did the president's letter, in one or another, change the course of the proceedings in this matter?
You remember, Apollo, 2 weeks back, I said that the president is not going to let the whole government collapse because of this scandal. Because you have about 20 ministers,
Including your vice president
the
and
vice
prime minister?
president, prime minister, the speaker of parliament, and so many others. Then you have members of parliament and things like that. So I knew that before the prosecution takes course, the president would have to look at these matters. You know, leadership, punishing is okay. But what would it benefit you if you take everyone to court and at the end of the day you have spent time and money and then people are, you know, people defeat you in court? Like I saw Honorable Barnabas. He comes from the Bunyoro sub-region. They wrote.
We will hear from
The
him.
ministry.
We will hear from
So-
him. And
How would you convict him over such a matter?
this is The Dialogue. My name is Principal, and Dr. Jared Wanzara is in the studios. Honorable Barnabas Tinkasimire and Charles Kazoba, man from representing the MK movement, is also in the studios. Honorable Barnabas is the Member of Parliament for Buyaga West.
You can say representing the people who believe Tova Khomeini.
Oh, okay, good. He has said it. Representing those who say Muzei Tova Khomeini. I don't know.
Tova Kubarat 2026.
I don't know where those factions are taking.
Now I'm in the middle. Today I have both of them. But on Easter I saw them together. You will tell us. Were they wielding an axe or something?
Actually, they were together. They celebrated Easter together. Was it Rachitula or Chisos?
You see,
Rajtura.
one thing that you people make, and which is a mistake.
Hope you're not taking us for a ride.
No.
Because that's
Viewers,
how-
that
what we
is
are beginning
it.
to believe.
But we are looking at serious matters happening in the country. When we speak against corruption, I think we are touching the nerves of many Ugandans who have been victims, and the ongoing saga in the OPM has actually unearthed, and it's a tip of an iceberg. And actually, those are the questions we're asking. We are probably asking if we actually becoming serious about fighting corruption. And Honorable Barnabas Tinkasimde, please, you will start from there and tell us whether what we are seeing, the arrests, the bail, the remand, and whether Honorable Goret Chitutu and Honorable Amos Rugorobi, after them we are seeing another list of prominent officials following suit.
Well, the way this we are handling this iron sheet scandal is like as if it is the only scandal that has happened in this country, the worst to have ever happened, particularly in the Prime Minister's office. It is not the worst. There are many billions that have been lost. I want to give an example. In the Ministry of Finance, there was a compensation to Basaja Baraba of around 160 billion on markets. I even don't know what they were compensating, because he had filed a case where I think he needed around 20 billion to compensate him, but this figure subsequently found its way to 160, and it is believed this money immediately it was gotten, it was shared on the streets of Kampala. This whole scandal, we are going to add up even the money for goats, is 29 billion, around 29 or 39 billion in total. 39 billions comparing it to 160 something billion. Anyone, they are not comparable.
Yeah, true.
Only that if you choose to prosecute these people and left the other group, for me, I would say the Banyoro or the Bachiga, the Ugandans generally, would say, I think he was looking for these people all along.
They were targeting some individuals.
Yes. But for me, the first person they arrested was rightly arrested.
True.
You cannot be in charge of a ministry. You have a work plan where you expect to work in Karamoja. And then when they give you money to implement as the head of Karamoja, you choose to implement in Busoga, in Bunyoro, in Uganda, and I ask myself, which Karamajongs were you trying to look for?
Yeah.
In Bunyoro, in Uganda, in Busoga? Were they there? So, Tutu, I would say, unfortunately, she's a Catholic. So I feel touched when they arrest a Catholic who should actually know that Catholics is a no-go zone, a no-go zone for theft.
Yeah, true.
You should, because the Catholic Church, its teachings have been sufficient to tell anyone holding an office that you hold it in the public trust, and you should be clear-headed. How evil shrewded her mind, and now she's in this circus, I don't know, but nevertheless she takes legal and personal responsibility.
Yeah, true.
2, she goes ahead to mislead other colleagues.
Yeah. You
very well know that these are not the beneficiaries, because she was targeting 7 beneficiaries per village to give them 15 iron sheets per person.
Okay.
She chooses to write to her colleagues, come and pick these iron sheets. I am told the biggest number, they do not even ask for them.
Yeah, some have actually testified that they didn't ask for.
But now, where I fault them, like, if it was brought to your attention that the iron sheets you are receiving is from Karamoja, you are culpable. You are culpable because you took the iron sheets of the Karamajongs. And at that level, at their level, like Minister for Finance, the Prime Minister, and other ministers who knew the portfolio of this Minister Chitutu, they should have declined to take the iron sheets. If I was in the same position, I would decline to take the iron sheets. I would decline. I would even never have asked for them. I have seen on the list, subsequently, they added there members of parliament from Bunyoro, where I belong.
Oh, yeah.
For us, before anything, that was far back in April, we received letters from the Minister for Bunyoro Affairs allocating to us as MPs, Chairman LC5s, iron sheets to distribute to the vulnerable community, particularly the schools.
April last year.
Church, yes.
Oh.
April last year. April last year. And for me, I did not pick mine quickly. Later on, I learned that everyone had picked. So I sent there my PA, and my PA picked those iron sheets. Indeed, I delivered them because I gave 40 to a mosque, one of the mosques in my constituency in Mpefu, a primary school called the Buhumuliro Primary School at the Church of Uganda, and another primary school called Katenje, also a private primary school at the Church of Uganda. And that marked the end of the 20 iron sheets. I even went to find out how these people that I gave the iron sheets, have they put them on the purpose they asked for? I found them on the roofs. And they have already used them.
And you're sure it's a different batch from what is being probed today? We
have received the communication from the permanent secretary of the OPM. There is another secretary called Seremba. When this big boss Keith fell sick, started acting on his behalf, much of the work is the one who was doing it. He has written clarifying about the consignment where the names of the MPs from Bunyoro are mentioned. It came from the Minister for Bunyoro Affairs.
Not Karamoja.
Not Karamoja. So, since he is the accounting officer, we can, for purposes of accountability, you take me to court, I will leave you there. I will leave you there. Two, we are still waiting for the Minister of Bunyoro Affairs. Because the Minister for Bunyoro Affairs is also mentioned to have carried the iron sheets of Karamoja.
Oh.
Yes. She is mentioned to have carried the iron sheets of Karamoja. We want to ask, what she carried? Is it what she gave us? But the carrying is recent. That is what distinguishes the other distribution. Ours was in April, May last year. This one is in December, January. Just recently.
Okay.
The Karamoja Bonanza is in January, December. Actually, others, I'm told they picked them in Feb.
Okay.
Feb. When almost the story was about to blow up. Now arrests are happening. I think when the government now the work of the prosecutor, the DPP is on, she has to show cause why she has arrested Chitutu. by adducing sufficient evidence to convict her beyond reasonable doubt, because it is a criminal offense.
Okay.
Her applying for bail, it's within her right, constitutional right. Article 23 of the Constitution guarantees fair hearing. Fair hearing discloses the fact that one can apply for bail. One of the why people have to apply for bail, they are presumed to be innocent, and supposing this woman at the end of the day it is discovered that she did not steal. Okay. She did not steal. You would have imprisoned her against her innocence. Arresting Lugorobi. Honorable Lugorobi is displaying a guilty mind. He receives iron sheets, uses them for personal use. I don't know whether Chitutu gave Honorable Chitutu gave Lugorobi to go and roof his cow shed. Then after he's discovered, instead of drying up with the problem, he goes and removes.
Interestingly,
that's a guilty mind. In law, we have a principle of res gestae. We follow the events in criminal in committing a crime. The evidence that is coming up is showing a real guilty mind. Of course, what now government that is looking for, is seeking to prosecute everyone, needs to establish is these iron sheets that they are claiming, were they labeled? Did they have a special label? A special label to indicate that this is a Karamoja consignment?
Did the consignment you benefited from, was it labeled Bunyoro?
Other than being prepainted, I did not see
a possibility.
Any label.
It was not labeled.
Any label. So that makes it even very difficult when you are going to prosecute people, because you are going to be put to strict proof beyond reasonable doubt that actually the iron sheets that I am carrying or I was given. Because now when you call me like to make a statement, I would not say that I received the Karamoja iron sheets, even when I received them.
Okay, Honorable, as a lawyer, where do you see this case, the trajectory?
It will take a lot of time. It will take a lot of time in court because it's wide. It's wide. There are many people to prosecute, and I don't think that Chitutu is going to reach court and say I abused my office. No.
Did you say there are many other people to prosecute?
Yes.
Meaning that we are going to see many more ministers or...
Because I have told you, you are receiving iron sheets from the minister for Karamoja, and you are a minister. You are a minister. Even if I would be a prosecutor, you would not escape.
Really?
The problem, I'm a member of parliament. I will not participate in the prosecution. As a lawyer, I will only participate in any defense if I will be given instructions to do so. But anyone whom the finger of evidence points to is you knowing that it's Chitutu. Because once we reach court, I will ask you, for me, I will ask you to tell court whether you knew, whether you received the iron sheets. If you say yes, from who? Chitutu.
The minister.
Then the other question I will ask you, did you know that Chitutu was a minister for Karamoja?
Oh, yeah.
Did you know that Chitutu was implementing activities in Karamoja?
That is during cross-examination.
No, just go to you return court. Immediately you return court those things. I have finished my case. But I will lie back like this.
Quickly speak about the letter the president wrote. Was it in some way, or would it in some way have influenced the process, the judicial process that is going on and the investigations? Because in his letter,
you know, the judiciary,
he talks about those who unconsciously received and those who deliberately received and actually put the items to personal use.
when you say unconsciously, I don't understand. Unconsciously. The president is trying to also mislead the country. How can you say I unconsciously received iron sheets?
But like you said, Kayaga was actually told, come on, or send someone.
Who told her? Can you turn around and say, we can only choose to forgive. We can only choose to forgive, but to say, I don't want to hear this story. A person who will say, who will come here and say, I was an, if they called my PA, you get me? Because these PAs are known. And my PA receives iron sheets on my behalf. And tells me I have received the iron sheet from the OPM's office. I will say, okay, go and distribute them. But I meet a minister in the cabinet meeting for Karamoja. She says, come, I give you. He's giving you from which vote?
Okay. But Apple,
are you a Karamojong to receive those iron sheets?
You have asked a similar question I asked here that has Karamoja changed direction and it is in the cover.
No, that's, let's tell the country the truth. Tell the country the truth. Those who want to ask for forgiveness, they ask for it, and they are forgiven, but we also know that they committed an error. Now, you get me? They committed an error. For us, the people of Bunyoro, the accounting officer seemed to have cleared us. But we are equally waiting for the statement from the minister of Bunyoro Affairs, who is indicted on the list of those who carried in January the iron sheets, to tell us that, by the way, even those iron sheets I gave the MPs or the people of Bunyoro, I had quietly gone there and carried them, and they are the ones I gave you. For us there, we can say we received them unconsciously. Yeah? Okay. And if it comes to that level, the best thing that when we return to the president and they say, sir, we are ready to return the iron sheets. Because a chitu vimya chichi. Mabati game million nya.
Honorable,
Chukuma, you will buy them and take them and end the hell.
They will refuse to accept them.
No, they have no way because the president has guided.
Honorable, for me, I looked at the motive. For instance, you go to Minister of Finance, the motive of the givers. You go to Minister of Finance, you give Matia Kasaija, you give Musasizi, you give Rugorobi. Then you give the speaker of the house, because the house appropriates the budget.
This woman calculated budget. After all, she was described as educated by the Prime Minister. She's very educated to craft her scheme to get away with it. It only backfired against her. But nevertheless, you can see where she has reached with an entire establishment. Now Rugorobi is arrested. Rugorobi is arrested. The point that I want to end with, President said they should arrest those who put the iron sheets to personal use. Those ones that used them for
should return them.
Should return them or pay the equivalent of the money. Mr. President, sir, don't change your goalposts. You said if Betty Kamya finds a thief who has built a person who has stolen Uganda money and built a hotel, he should not be touched.
Who has invested in Uganda?
Yes, who has invested in Uganda. Why are they, I will use the Uganda, Kuruachi Baturugunya, the head teacher in Mitiana. In Mitiana, abakozesa amabati gano ne basereka amasomero omwabana baffe masomera. These are Ugandans. You and the policemen should also shape up.
Okay.
Why would you arrest a head teacher for roofing a school?
In one statement, is corruption from the arrest, from the court process that we are seeing,
and a person who steals
is corruption
to build a public institution is a thief.
Is corruption becoming a risky business in Uganda today? Is corruption becoming risky business today?
These are a small thing. They are just ready. We are seeing people carry trillions. Trillions. They are not touched. I gave you an example. Who was arrested in the scandal of Basaja Barab?
Of COVID recently.
The COVID money. The COVID money. Billions and billions of money have been lost. And NSSF, there is a woman called Bakoko Bakoro. She's in exile. She's in exile. But the group, her people, and I am sure the president is West Nile, must receive a petition every time he goes to allow Bakoko Bakoro to return from exile. Over NSSF money that she carried away. Billions and billions every day are being lost. Every quarter, you will see somebody going on a building. In 2 weeks, in 1 month, is finished.
Yeah, true.
You ask yourself, where does this person work from? Me and the Honorable Sechikubo one time, we were in Kampala. We asked when we were moving around, where do these people get money?
Okay.
At least for us, we are one of the well-paid Ugandans.
Yes.
Is it that we are wasteful? I asked the CEO. He said, no, we don't go to bars. Where do we? These people are the people who are stealing our money. Whom the president said we should leave, we should not follow.
Viewers, this
So,
is
fighting.
the dialogue. Please, you can now start sending in your comments, and the producer will be running that number on your screen. Send it to 0701 610 9906. Send a message, WhatsApp or SMS, and make your contribution to the discussion that is going on. Are we becoming very serious about corruption? And is corruption really becoming serious business? No, risky business in Uganda? Tell us what you think. And Honorable Barnabas and Dr. Jared Wanzara, together with Charles Kazoba, will be responding to those comments. I am Nasiri Tumwekwasa in Mubende. We shall surely miss Keith for his intelligence. However, every time someone leaves office, it should be an opportunity for others to shine. And he laughs, he said, "You have cracked my ribs by saying that corruption has become risky business." In Uganda, people maybe think that we are still joking, and that is what I want to ask Charles Kazoba. Do you think corruption has become risky business in Uganda today? We see the arrests, we see the court process, the remand. A minister spending eight days on remand in Ruzira.
Apple.
Yeah.
Let me put it to him.
Do.
The president, during Mhozi's birthday at State House when Kagame was there, said that these corrupt people are joking with me. But when Mhozi comes, for him, he will not tolerate them.
Yeah.
And
Start from there. And he calls them parasites. At one time, he called them pigs.
that is very true. For us, we don't even want to hear the word corruption, because this is plunder. It is theft of government resources. However, we failed to
Barnabas is
diagnose.
laughing. Go right
That's
ahead.
why don't I laugh? Because the person he is talking about, I know him very well. He should
Honorable,
in terms of salary,
I
he
gave-
does not earn the money that I
I
earn.
gave him,
But I even do not have even a hundred of his wealth.
I gave him his time. He
I
talked.
do not have a hundred of his wealth.
I did not interfere with you,
Okay.
Honorable.
He
You
should
have
explain
your
where
time.
he gets all that wealth.
I
You have
think,
your time.
let's respect each other.
Okay,
However,
go right away. It's your time.
let us diagnose the problem. Look at the politics of 1980s. Under this government, the 1990s and today, there's a difference. 80s, 90s, it was a service to the people.
Oh, yeah.
Today,
But that's
we are
when they
talking.
shared government property.
We are
in
talking
Kololo,
of
where?
employment. We are talking of business. That's why people, animals, are getting into politics. It's not for service at all. Today, as we talk, he can confirm. To go to parliament, you will spend on average between 500 to $1 billion. I know of an individual who contested in Western Uganda. She spent $2 billion but still could not make it to parliament. So it's very expensive. That's why you see this greed to plunder. Whatever opportunity comes, these politicians will take advantage. And by the way, there's something that we are missing. My own investigations indicate that there is a huge conspiracy between the politicians and the technocrats. Yeah. Politicians are not stealing in isolation. No. Actually, it is the technocrats that facilitate this plunder of government resources. Therefore, is it a problem for this country, and how do we deal with it? My view is that, yes, we can handle these small cases. A minister here is prosecuted, another one is arrested. But does it take away the problem? It does not. We must deal with this evil decisively. If we are to punish public servants that steal public resources, we should make it a great risk for them. I don't even see why a minister who has been arraigned before court should continue holding a portfolio of cabinet.
No, the presumption of innocence.
You see, that is what we are talking about in MK movement, because we are very serious. If you are a suspect, immediately get out of office. Why should you continue being a minister? For a case like Honorable Chitutu.
Yeah, possibly. Chitutu apologized.
Honorable Gorobi, the day he confessed should have been the day to step out of office.
Yeah.
There's even another minister from Western Uganda who claimed to have distributed iron sheets to a certain school. The following day, the school made a statement denying that they ever received iron sheets from the said minister. Now, these cases should be dealt with decisively. However, there's one big element we are ignoring, and that is the supervision of these ministers. Up to today, I'm failing to understand why the Prime Minister keeps posturing as an innocent being when it comes to this matter. Because this is her docket. But the supervision of these ministries, she should have been in charge. She should be on top of things. I highly doubt that these relief items were distributed the way they were without her knowledge.
Well, because she benefited, she had the knowledge about.
And that is what we are talking about. Now, when you fail in supervision, and for us as keen observers, we look at this as a big thing, more than just the mere theft of iron sheets.
Yeah, true.
You are trying to collapse a government. And I agree with him. I've even said it on other forums. That Honorable Chitutu's scheme to us was a conspiracy to collapse government.
Actually, wait a minute. Somebody told me this week that that is possibly why President Museveni is coming out strongly against what is happening. And he said President Museveni does not take it lightly that such a scandal can actually lead in the fall of his government. So
exactly, let me tell you,
people may rise and
you have a VP
and topple his government.
You have a speaker. You have ministers of finance. You have a prime minister involved in this scheme. My friend, if we are in an advanced advanced country, these guys would have stepped down. And what is President Museveni left with? Therefore, the matter has to be taken very, very seriously. Honorable said that why does the country focus more on this?
On this moral issue, Mabati.
Yes.
When him, actually other big scandals.
To him, it is a small matter. But, Mr. Apollo, with your status, if you were caught stealing a small phone, a cartouche in Parliament,
it is a shame. It's a shame.
Everybody will talk about it.
It's
You
a big
get it?
shame.
And it exposes your intentions. Actually, people begin seeing
Yeah.
who you are.
True, true.
Now, ministers may have even said before that they are soon stealing carpets and furniture from their offices. This is the level we are heading to. Therefore, this matter should be taken very, very seriously. Yes, there are small things that have been stolen, but it is a big problem. It is a shame to the country, and therefore we must take it very seriously. However, what I would also want to end with, what is the policy relating to distribution of relief items? How come that the minister wakes up and begins distributing? You take 10 iron sheets, you take 5, as if she's the accounting officer.
Yeah, actually.
What is the role of the accounting officer? Is there a policy on relief items? What was the criteria followed in distribution of these relief items? Why, for instance, do we have iron sheets go to Bunyobo and they don't go to Kabale or Kasese? What was the criteria? This we must interrogate. If there exists a policy on relief, then we should follow that policy to the letter.
You're right.
And therefore, my friend Keith Makanezi was right to have come out and state that he was unaware. However, who are those people that signed? We should not just look at the politicians. There is connivance.
There's connivance.
And this is not the first scandal in OPM. Actually, some of us are even suggesting that let the Prime Minister, the Minister's office be unabandoned.
B?
Let us have a Prime Minister
just stand by
deal
itself.
with supervision.
Okay. And,
Let these ministries get out of his office.
all right. And the same question I ask you, do you think there is much more than what we see, what meets the eye, and what is being churned out in newspapers and everywhere in the media
Yes.
behind this saga?
Yes.
Because I asked that question because there have been theories that possibly this could be a targeted move. I mean, to either tarnish people's names or what.
There is a...
Or actually, others think that this is a diversion. It's a red herring.
No.
Because we had the scandal in the NSSF, we had the scandal in Lubowa, we had that possibly this is a creation. Just
I will tell you.
divert our attention.
I will tell you for a fact that in our cabinet, as we talk, we don't have members of cabinet who are very sophisticated to create a diversion. That is not there. First of all, they are fighting each other all the time. So how will they create a scheme to divert Ugandans from a core scandal to this small matter? It is not possible. However, are we not interrogating this issue in detail to establish motive? It is also possible. Because somebody told me that there has been a scheme to approach the Prime Minister.
Oh, Nabanja.
They feel her method of work is not the best, according to them. So those schemes have been there to build scandals, and therefore that it is possible Honorable Chitutu could have been recruited into this innocently. Somebody could have sold this idea to her with ill intentions, but she was unaware what the ultimate target was. So that is also there.
So another conspiracy theory.
Yeah, it is. I treat it as a conspiracy theory. But my main point is the Prime Minister should rise up to the occasion and take charge of government business.
Yeah, true.
These ministers should be made to report what happens in their ministries on a weekly basis, so that she's aware and she's following all government matters to detail. That's how she will be able to detect such scandals.
Good. Thank you so much, our viewers. And let me look through your comments before I bring in another panelist. Good morning. I am Karema Richard. I'm watching from Muhoro in Buyaga West. Our MP, Honorable Barnabas, should not be taken among the ones who received iron sheets for Karamoja, because by the time he received the iron sheets from the Minister for Bunyoro Affairs, the Karamoja iron sheets scandal had not arose. I love you. I love my MP so much. Honorable, a pleased and appreciative voter there. Corruption in Uganda will only be a risky business when death penalty is accorded to the guilty ones. Asking them to leave office ain't enough. Thank you so much, but you did not give us your name there. And good morning. Okay. It's the same message I read there, and he says, praise Jesus, Museveni should wake up and fight corruption. Corruption had starved and retarded economic growth and development of this country. Check roads in Kampala, Busoga, my region, and others. Let the law take its course on all the culprits, and even their properties be sold should they be found guilty. Thank you so much, but please send in your names alongside your comments. I am Stephen from Zana, and thanks for the show. To me, corruption is like a virus, so it's like a business for nowadays, but also a virus which is spread from one person to another, and that is what I can say about the issue. Okay, thank you so much there, and these are your comments. Live, Alex live in Chibuli, thanks Dialogue panelists, thanks for the program. About the saga of iron sheets, the only way these days fighting corruption, the goodness of this government, really? Corruption is a goodness. Okay, those most high-ranked people uses their offices. Hey, okay. Thank you, Alex in Chibuli. Your message is here. It will only be risky business if Mr. Museveni is not a beneficiary in any way. Really? Is he? Thanks for the dialogue. Please give us your names so that we are not also asked to make statements somewhere. I am Tunomicha Ivan, and I think it's high time they steps down and our MK comes in. You have a supporter there. Kazoba, we are ready as MK government to fight any kind of scandal related to corruption. MK Ame chairperson Ginger, but you didn't indicate. Your name is Tuinomujisha Ivan. Thank you so much for watching and sending in these comments. Many of these comments are only appreciative of our work. I am Frank. Let government first arrest NSSF people involved. Oh, okay. I now cross over to you, Dr. Jared Wanzara, and you will be telling us what you think is coming up. Possibly you can tell us what you think will happen. We see ministers being arrested, remanded. Corruption looks like it's going to be a bit risky business unless the all processes are over and we see the real action. Okay. He says it's a sign of being unethical, lack of integrity. So she shouldn't be in office. Oh, they shouldn't remain in office. This is Enos in Iganga. Some messages are very tricky. Good morning, Mr. Polo. I am Magara. From Kasabira in Kamuli district. The Ugandans of 1980s wanted a savior to bring people to them. Okay, and there is, oh my God. Thank you so much, Magara. Okay, thank you so much. I am Johnson Barigahari. Okay, Johnson Barigahari Chirinda, because corruption powered by Mr. Oh, sorry, we cannot stop. Okay. Gentlemen, let's wind up in these 10 minutes. Jared, what should we expect? We see ministers being remanded,
I don't
granted bail, others arrested. What should we expect?
I don't think I will go in expectations. I'll leave it to others. But one, I will comment on two things. One, the people who design some of these programs are ill-informed. I worked in Karamoja during the first disarmament by the UPDF. We worked very closely with the army. And our role was to promote civil-military cooperation in disarmament. Now, the way I know Karamojongs, even if you give them iron sheets and the poverty there, they will go and sell somewhere and drink Marua, Ajona and Waraj. If I was a technocrat in the office of the Prime Minister, I would probably think of mapping the 9 districts of Karamoja and have a housing program where I could have a low-cost construction. There are these estates we see like Maluku in Imbali, bricks that you just arrange and then you roof. You'll map and then you target some households, build some small structures and give them. But you'll give those iron sheets every year and I can assure you, you'll not find a structure there. That's number one. So we are wasting time.
Yeah, you're right.
Number two is about reform of the office of the Prime Minister. Why can't we have the office of disaster, the ministry as an independent of disaster preparedness, refugees and relief as independent ministry? Then we can have a ministry for affirmative action. Then we have departments of Obunyoro, we have this, we have that. Then we leave the constitutional role of the Prime Minister as a leader of government business in Parliament and also to do the monitoring and evaluation of these ministries. The role of a Prime Minister cannot be to run around the way we are seeing the Honorable Nabanja everywhere. On a border, on where. No. What time will you have to look at things to do with the policy? That's something that the president should think about. 3, a hard one. Rest in peace, Viraro. In his campaign pledge, he said he was going to build a special prison in Kalangala for the corrupt. If we have a special court, anti-corruption court, and we have decided it's a problem, let's have them there. Let's build for them a prison.
Okay.
Because they are taking us for a joke. I can assure you, these local governments you are seeing, many of them are dysfunctional.
All right. I get you. It will only become risky business if all those implicated are arrested, charged, and convicted. Just like Alan and Segrinya failed to get bail for years because certain big people at Plot 1 had interest in the case, the same should apply here. Let corrupt officials walk in on remand and are bailed the next day, the next week, and the state kills the case naturally because this is very possible. And I wanted to get the name. I see Nate, but of course, if you're watching, you must now know who you are there. And okay, those people, okay, are possessed by the evil spirit. Okay, that's why even if
Pastor
they are,
Mujigo should pray for
even when they are paid billions of money, their eyes keep twitching for small things. May God and Kalamajong forgive them. I am Florence Naliaka Kamulichireka. Thank you so much. I think that is a good one there. Anyway, we have to pray for them. It's just evil. It's surely a shame for the ministers to get involved in stealing of iron sheets. And the Speaker of Parliament, surely, how I wish they are judged to death. Oh, that is not good there. He says Muhoozi is the next president. Anyway, Honorable.
You know, I pity Ugandans who have hope in Muhoozi. A man in his own wisdom, whose rose a birthday of billions of money.
Yeah.
Not only in one place, but in every district.
Yeah.
We are aware that at the fall of the term, many children of Ugandans are going to be, they will not even sit for first term exams. They are dropping out of school.
Yeah.
And we are talking about corruption. What evidence do you need from a corrupt person?
Yeah.
Large life
Yeah.
is a characteristic of a corrupt person.
Yeah, lifestyle audit.
Yes.
Should come in.
For me, let's take it seriously. Kagame used that indicator to fight corruption. The late Magufuli, now the president of Malawi and Zambia, they are using that indicator.
Hichilema.
Yes.
Aikinde.
Yes, to fight corruption. The area that I want to agree with him where they do not provide a solution, and of course their government will not come, he said the politicians and the technical people are in a syndicate
They collude
to rob this country. It's very true. It's very true. As long as the politician is going to shield the technical person will carry 75% and give the politician 25%. The politician will walk home very happy. 25% is too much for him, but he's carried 75%. 75%, these are kids you are seeing in this country. If you investigated, you go to the homes of these accounting officers. You will find when their homes are packed with cars, even every child at home, even the one who is in a baby class has a car. A car that is a Mercedes Benz.
Honorable, what should we expect from here? Ministers are going in jail, others are being in prison, others are being released on granted bail.
President Museveni, whereas he promised to fight corruption, he lost the battle along the way. In his 10-point program, particularly when you fight corruption and you open your eye only when your relative is not involved. When your relative is involved, you close your eye. We don't know what is happening. We are talking about Karamoja.
Yeah.
We don't know what is happening in Somalia.
Yeah, true.
Our soldiers in Somalia are supposed to be getting 12,000 US dollar. A contribution made by the UN, but our soldiers are given 7,000.
Wow. Okay.
7,000. Who takes that balance? We are aware of who takes it. But can he be touched? Because it was given special by his father to prepare himself, manage this project. This is your welfare. No, we can't continue running the country like this.
Corruption in Uganda is like a birthday party because
people are aware of what you are doing. When they have an opportunity of even carrying away the iron sheet, a saucepan, they will do it.
Okay. Someone has a message here. Corruption in Uganda is like a birthday party because every year we talk about corruption and the same thing happens the next year. Mr. Chiku Cooper, thank you so much. Cooper, thank you so much for that comment. And this gentleman, Frank, says Tinka Simile should be our prime minister. Somebody is endorsing you.
No, in our government, which is not his. Okay. Our government, which is led by His Excellency Theodore Sechkubo. I am the Prime Minister.
It is coming.
Yes. Okay. Not theirs. We know they are part of the Sagari. What is happening in this country, they are part of it.
Corruption can't be a risky business in Uganda. We are just joking. Greetings, Tony Lewetinka Simile. Thanks for being very, very enthusiastic about the matter. Okay, Stephen in Kagadi asked Honorable Barnabas about oh no, that's not on our list of topic for discussions today. He says he wants to hear your position on homosexuality, and
he voted against it on the floor of the House.
Good, he's a voter. Maybe he wants to know your
No, I voted against it. I do not agree with it. There are many beautiful Ugandans, women and handsome men to enjoy that relationship of a man and a woman.
Yeah.
It is biblical. I'm a Catholic. I can't promote anything below the standard.
We appreciate, thank you so much for being our eyes. Twagira Yesu Samuel in Chiboga district. Thank you so much, and unfortunately our time is running out. I'm Johnson Balegahare. Okay, I think I read this message. Let's wind up just in 2 minutes.
Now, MK government has a solution to what we are talking about. Number one is to decommercialize politics, reduce the importance of money in politics. Number two is to reduce on the number of politicians we have in this country. Not all of them are necessary, because we don't want job seekers and businessmen in politics. We want leaders that will show direction to this country. Therefore, we have to reduce the size of the political group.
Thank you. In just 30 seconds, please.
As I end, I would want to implore or encourage Honorable Tinkasimire to support General Mohozi. Why? All the people that you worship, all the leaders that you worship,
I wish the cameraman
General
would show
who is the commander
expression on
President Museveni, General Saleh, Mama Janet, General Kagame, Chinyata. These are people that have groomed the General Mohozi.
But
So
we,
you cannot-
we also know that you can produce a body, not the soul. So we are aware.
You cannot.
Museveni does not test any alcohol, but your son or your candidate can sleep in a bar when he sees the alcohol.
That is not part of our discussion this morning. Viewers, this is the dialogue. We'll be coming back next Saturday. We appreciate your company, and we appreciate the comments and the feedback that has been coming in. Thank you so much for your time. I must thank Honorable Barnabas Tinkasimire. It's always a pleasure having you on the show.
Thank you. To our viewers, we end on a good note. And I want to thank my colleagues for a spirited fight, particularly the one with a generator that cannot start.
Dr. Jared Wanzara, thank you so much. We missed you last week, but you're here today.
Thank you very much, Aparo, for moderating us.
I thank our viewers who have stayed with us, and today I'm impressed
Okay.
the participation of the viewers.
Yeah.
So we always encourage our viewers to be part of this show.
Okay.
Thank
People
you.
from Namisimba are not contributing as much.
And I can assure them that I'm going to continue fighting corruption.
Good. Thank you so much, Charles Kazoba. Our time is up. We'll be back next Saturday. Good afternoon and a good week ahead. Bye-bye.